I'm Brittany Castro, and welcome to Next Generation Startups. Our mission is to discover young entrepreneurs and their companies and to explore the peaks and valleys of their journey into the world of business. Today, this mission takes us to where health and entrepreneurship meet. A recent trend in the diet and exercise field has been the paleo diet, which eliminates processed food and returns participants to a simpler and healthier way of eating. Our guest was a technology executive who suffered from sickness as the result of celiac disease before she came to believe in the paleo diet. And she decided that she wanted to spread the lifestyle to others. She founded the website paleochef.com and serves as a chef consultant to athletes and other high-profile personalities. Her mantra is eat clean, play often, crush life. Mary Shenouda joins us today. Welcome to the show, Mary.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Let's first start by having you explain your journey of how you got to be this amazing entrepreneur that you are today.
Yeah, it's a common question. I think with most entrepreneurs, wherever they end up today, their teachings come in hindsight from things they've done up until that one point. My background is technology. I was in sales for the last decade. But I think I first started selling when I was 8 years old. I lived by a golf course.
Okay.
And balls would get hit into my yard. So I decided to collect those balls and sell them back to the players.
Genius idea.
And I think that was my first taste of being my own boss. And I always did those types of things and always wanted to start a business at a young age. And so when I graduated high school, two options: traditional route, go to college, play tennis, or take a role working on a sales team at a company called VeriSign. And crushed it. In the first few months, I'd already killed my quota, and that was it was natural and fun. And so when you have VeriSign on your resume, you then get to work for other companies and start building a very impressive resume of success when it comes to selling. Now, fast forwarding 10 years later, I was dealing with a lot of health issues. So balancing something like a quota as well as being sick is very difficult to do. And the reality is I started with the sickness in second grade and would always be in doctor's offices, ER visits, once or twice a month, and hiding that from my corporate life because you still want to push through, especially when you're tied to a quota. It got to the point where I was 24 or 25 and they wanted to diagnose me with cancer. And I gave them the finger and started to do my own research because they had taken so much blood from me and given me so many false diagnoses that I was getting really sick and tired of it. And so I did my own research, sent out lab work for anyone that is going through testing for celiacs. Blood tests are 60% inconclusive, so I decided to do a stool test, and that came back as full-blown celiac. And over the course of the next 3 months after that, I was able to heal things that had been bothering me since the second grade. And so everyone around you sees these changes. They see that you are more present. There's an awesome byproduct of being healthy. You lose a lot of weight, so people notice that. So people started asking me to coach them and teach them and cook for them in the Bay Area. Notable folks. And it got to the point where I was trying to do both, and I had to choose.
Still at your executive job and starting your
$1 million quota, managing a team, and starting my own business. And I started the business wanting to do a food service. And the consulting and the chefing was what I was going to do to keep the lights on. So it came to the point of picking one. And I came home one day and said, I'm going to pick paleo, and resigned the next day.
Wow. So this is like beautiful because one, I think it's nice to show that you kind of started it on the side while still having your regular 9-to-5 job or however much you were working at that time.
9 to 5, I wish.
Maybe not 9 to 5, but you're in sales. But I think that's a good tip because I feel like a lot of times people have these genius business ideas and they feel like just quitting and then starting is not something they could do. So maybe start on the side, see if it works, see if you gain traction.
Gaining traction's key. It's not saying gaining money. It's not bringing money in the door, but it is seeing if there's legs for the opportunity.
A little validation.
Yes. And just doing it. Just getting up and doing it. Because I'd only been doing it for a couple of months before I decided to go all in.
Oh, okay. So all you needed was a few months and then you realized, all right, this is what I want to do. Nice. All right. So that's why you're so passionate about what you do, because you have your own personal story around this health and living a healthy lifestyle. Why is that so important for entrepreneurs who are busy, and I hear a lot of times, I don't have time to work out, or I don't have time to sleep 8 hours a day or eat clean. I'm an entrepreneur, and it's kind of almost like this sexy thing they like to throw out, like, I don't have time for
the glorification of busy.
Yeah. But let's talk about that. Why is it so important for us to be healthy?
If you're an entrepreneur, you're already high level thinking. I like to call entrepreneurs superheroes because they can really do a lot of things in whatever field they choose. And you need to be able to feel your superpowers. And starting your day that way is really, really important. Otherwise, you're robbing the end result of your mission. You're robbing I don't know if you're worried about numbers, you're robbing yourself of revenue, you're robbing yourself of your message. And it's really important to be functioning in a really clear state. So if you have a very clean diet going on, and then you're doing some hacking to add to it, and you have your fitness or play in order, whatever that is, you are in a very good state to make really big decisions related to your business. If you're not making great decisions. You might be making good ones, but you want to make better ones. Yeah,
I feel like if you're not healthy and really doing those things that you said, that help you be that superhero, you kind of are a little cloudy. At least I know that for myself. I feel cloudy if I don't do these certain things that I know make me feel my best.
And most of them don't know what being or feeling great actually is.
Feels like, yeah.
I woke up for the first time without a headache in 26 years after going paleo, and I was confused.
Like, what's happening?
Like, where's my headache? It was very confusing.
You were so used to the pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's an extreme case, but a lot of folks who are entrepreneurs that I know that I work with, they talk about waking up one day and realizing that there was a fog that they thought was normal that got lifted. There was a musician that I made the Bulletproof coffee for in the morning, and he was going to see his producer, and he called me and he was like, "What did you put in that coffee? I feel euphoric. Lyrics are just coming out of me like nothing." And I'm like, sweet, that's what I want to hear, and that should be everyone's baseline.
Amazing. All right, I know you do a really good job of connecting with big players in your industry, hence why you work with athletes and high-profile personalities. I feel like that's a goal for a lot of business owners, to connect with these big players and get their name out there, but they don't have the success like you do. So what tips do you have for entrepreneurs who want to connect with big players in their own industry, whatever it is?
I think, so for me, I've only been doing Paleo Chef for about a year. So there's a lot of strategies that I'm still testing, which I'm going to keep to myself right now.
All right. We'll let you keep your secret.
Till I give proof of concept. But I think if your goal is to connect with big players, you should reevaluate your goals, number one. Your goal should be providing your service or your mission. And when you do that naturally, other people are going to talk about you, and that's going to make it up the chain to those particular folks that you want to connect with. And I think there's a level of ego that has to be played in this. Your goal is not to connect or to meet them. Your goal should be on their level.
Yeah.
So I view all of my clients as equals. And that plays a very big role in the relationship that the dynamic I'm able to create with them. Not putting them on a pedestal, if you will.
Right, and I feel similar with the work that I do, and I would imagine that most people at that level, they don't want to feel like, you're inexperienced or, you're my first big client. Yeah. They want to know that you can handle working with them and that you're going to bring your A game and deliver upon the value.
Yeah. They're contacting you because you are an expert in your area, and they don't need to become an expert. That's why they're hiring you. So you should come in there with that confidence already.
Excellent tip. I love that. Well, where can we find more about you and all the amazing things that you're up to?
Paleochef.com is where everything lives. I actually share almost everything in my life, not just the food, but the hustle, the tips, the mindset on Instagram, which is @PaleoChef. Pretty easy. And then Twitter @PaleoChef as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing I really like about you. Since I've followed you and known you, you're very authentic, and you are who you are offline and online, which is beautiful.
Thank you very much.
And I love seeing all your recipes, and one day I hope to actually do some of them. Or I'll just hire you. That's
we can cook together.
Okay, I like that.
A big goal, other than the clients that are like performance athletes, most of my other clients, I teach them to become their own coach. So they don't need me anymore.
I love that. Well, thank you. We'll have to plan that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching Next Generation Startups. I'm Brittany Castro, and I'll see you next time.